What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Dark Web Gold Goblin issue number 3. This will be part 10 of Dark Web. What we had last seen is Norman Osborn facing off against the Queen Goblin. Being able to lose her trail, he has not yet been able to find her again. We are seeing that Osborn is coming face to face with his own sins. Those sins have embodied what is Queen Goblin. A man who is trying to go on the straight and narrow. A man who is trying to do the right thing. But can he ever escape the sins of his past? Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 3, we are picking up with Norman currently in the middle of therapy, or at least that is what it appears to be. But this quickly turns into a nightmare, with Norman's face being ripped off. We learn that the therapist is in fact the Queen Goblin, ripping his face off, exposing the Green Goblin, as Queen Goblin exposes Norman to be the Green Goblin, the persona that he tries to hide away. Really simply a metaphor for saying that he will never escape the sins of his past. But with Norman waking up from this nightmare, sleep for him has been very rough ever since the Sin Eater, especially after his encounter with Queen Goblin. And then to add everything on top of this, you have Ben Reilly, Chasm, and then everything going on with Limbo. And Norman had sought the help of Dr. Ashley Kafka, thinking that she could help him with all of the void in the memories of every terrible thing that he has done, all of them constantly replaying inside of his brain. The irony of it all is that Dr. Ashley, she is turned into the manifestation of Norman's sins, now going by the name of Queen Goblin. Every sin that he ever had, the Beyond Corporation gave them to Ashley. And while Queen Goblin has been actively trying to give this sin back to Norman, he does believe that they are slowly killing her. But his idea right now is to simply let her die, because if she dies, he believes that his sins will die with her. The only problem, he has no idea where she is. You throw in the fact that they have the limbo crisis that is currently ongoing, and it makes for one heck of a mess. An hour ago, she nearly killed Osborn, and now nothing. Maybe possibly hiding in all of the chaos that is the city. Every object has now been possessed by a demon. Norman is a little bit concerned that maybe this is all a hallucination. More his guilt manifesting itself to torment him. But in the meantime, he tries his hand at something new. Suited up as the Gold Goblin, he goes out and he tries to be a hero. With a house on fire nearby, he goes inside to rescue anybody, only to find that children are being attacked by their own stuffed animals. Demons possessing these stuffed animals and attacking anybody in sight. Norman gets to work trying to take these guys down. His suit made of 24 karat gold. The melting point is 1900 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that his suit is more than capable of handling the flames. With Norman saving the day, he heads back in. Anytime that he steps off of this glider, he can feel that guilt return, lying right underneath the surface. In his mind, he believes that his sins must be destroyed. With a knock at the door, this is Liz, letting Norman know that it feels a little bit weird with all the chaos that is going on, that they would have a birthday party for Norm. But Norman doesn't want Normie to celebrate his birthday in a panic room. And so as all of the guests arrive, that is where we see Spider-Man. Except this isn't the actual Spider-Man, this is just somebody who dresses up as such and goes to kids' birthday parties. Norman immediately starts going in on him. This obviously triggers Norman, Feeling as if Spider-Man is taunting him, it takes him a minute to snap out of it and recognize that this isn't actually Peter Parker. That's when Liz tells him that you should probably go lay down. Go lay down, take a break, get some rest. But before he does so, he does have a conversation with Normie, letting him know that his father would be proud of him. Over Norman's shoulder, the ghost of his son, telling him to tell the boy how he was just a screw-up and a drug addict. That sometimes Norman is relieved that he had died. But he ignores all of this and simply lets Normie know that your father loved you and he was the best. When Normie asks why did you hurt him so much if you cared so much about him, this makes Norman crack a tear and he simply says that he doesn't know. But going into the other room, going ahead and laying down on the bed, asking himself why he did so much hurt. This thought process is quickly interrupted with a giant fiery explosion. We have the arrival of Jack-o'-lantern, calling out Norman Osborn, asking Norman if you think I'm nothing, that you think I'm a joke. With Liz's brother here, also known as Molten Man. He had been depowered all the way back in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, issue number 16. Thinking to himself that right now, it would be a great time to have his powers. But we see the Gold Goblin, he is suited up and he is going after Jack-o'-lantern. The two of them, they start duking it out. With Gold Goblin grabbing hold of him, the two of them make their way up into the sky. And Gold Goblin has to ask, what was your plan? You claim not to be a murderer. You say that I am the murderer. So why did you come here, where my family is? What was your intention? With Norman grappling around his wrist, having a hold of him, he drags him up into the sky. At this point, Jack-o'-lantern, he is at pause. He doesn't know what to say. In that moment, he sees Normie. He hears the question of why did you hurt him so much? With Norman recognizing that he's probably gone too far, he helps Jack-o'-lantern up and the two of them, they head off to have a conversation. With Jack-o'-lantern taking off his pumpkin, he reveals to Norman that his name is Owen Ward. And he lets Owen know that he is right. As Norman takes off his helmet, he says that he is a murderer. But Jack-o'-lantern, he has never killed anybody. A long time ago, he was a med student, but at some point, he lost his nerve. He believes that maybe he could have gotten help, but he felt broken. He felt ashamed, and then inevitably he had bigger problems. He needed money. He knew about the skeleton trade from medical school. He knew the going price for good bones. Back in those days, Jack-o'-lantern actually really did look up to Norman, because Norman was a very successful businessman. Back in those days, Norman seemed invincible, but Osborn is letting him know that he's not, that nobody is. And the truth is, Norman took a lot that didn't belong to him. But right now, more than anything, Norman wants to help Jack-o'-lantern. Thinking to himself that maybe he can't destroy his sins, but just perhaps there is an opportunity for him to atone for them. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This one doesn't heavily correlate with anything going on with Dark Web. But what it does show is that Norman truly is trying to change. There are moments of weakness where he thinks killing Queen Goblin may be the solution to all of his problems. But he is quickly learning that even getting rid of his sin, even snuffing it out in the form that is Queen Goblin, this is not going to end the guilt that he feels every single day. The truth of the matter is that he has to live every single day atoning for those sins. That he has to find ways to make himself and those around him so much better. Only then will he have the opportunity for that guilt to feel as if it had been lifted. And even then, there is a possibility that the guilt will always be there. This is one of the main factors that is driving Norman Osborn to be a better person, to try and be the hero. that being the Gold Goblin is one of his only ways of finding true salvation. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Dark Web, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only do you get tons of perks in the process, but you are helping out the channel tremendously. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.